Welcome to the On Deck podcast for all your baseball DFS needs with your superstar host, fantasy baseball experts, Casey, Bubba, and Bogman. On Deck podcast is sponsored by LineStar app, the #1 top-rated data and analytics tool for daily fantasy sports.
And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the On Deck MLB DFS podcast brought to you by the wonderful people at LineStar Sports. Hope you all had a great weekend. It was another wild one of baseball action. You can find myself on Twitter at Pediatric. My co-host, as always, on Twitter at Bogman Sports. Scott Bogman, how we doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. I actually went to a Diamondbacks game over the weekend. It was terrible. They were up 2-1 the whole game, and then, of course, lost it at the end. Soria choked away the save, and they lost. And even worse, it looked like Wrigley Field South in Phoenix. So not sure if you got to see any of the highlights of that game, but it was awful.
No, I'll be 100% honest with the listeners. I checked in on baseball. I played DFS over the weekend. I watched things on my phone, but I did not physically see a lot of baseball this weekend. The family's been gone, so it's been beautiful. I golfed 4 out of 5 days. I worked and did some other stuff, so it's been a lot of fun in that regard. But no physical.
You missed the
watching.
Padres scoring like 41 runs over the last 3 games. It's been ridiculous.
I stacked those games. That was great. But I didn't get to watch it all. I did get to watch a little on Saturday night, and then the craziness that happened there. And thank God everybody's okay, because things happen like that, which is bananas. But they finished that game up and played the regular game on Sunday. All things are good to go, as we would hope they would be. So that is great to see. But it was an eventful weekend. The Giants didn't score any runs. They lost 2 out of 3, so that's great. Like the second half starting off on a great note in that regard. But they get Gossman back on Monday, so that'll be good. But any other takeaways from the weekend that really stood out to you that besides the Padres and the Nats? Hey, Soto's got 3 home runs over the weekend, so maybe the home run derby worked for him.
Yeah. Ohtani went yard on Sunday as well. Just a fun weekend of baseball now that we have the COVID behind us. And the Padres scoring a bunch of runs. I mean, the Diamondbacks are. I feel like an addict. Like I went back to go watch them after swearing off of them, but it was a free ticket and it was fun with some friends. So but it was. I mean, it was the loudest I've heard that ballpark since the 2017 playoffs, and it was because it was filled with Cubs fans.
Yeah, that's no good. That's no good.
It's not fun.
You hate seeing that, but at least someone's going out and watching the games, which is good. And before we get started previewing the Monday 11-game slate of action, make sure you follow LineStar on Twitter at LineStar app and at LineStar DFS. They tweet out all the good stuff you need right then and there, and also download the app, the LineStar app in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. Everything you need to build the winning lineups in the palm of your hands for all sports. If you want to play MMA this past weekend, the Open Championship, all in the palm of your hands. So enjoy the good stuff there. And you'll need it. You're going to need it because we have 11 games on Monday, and the pitching is atrocious, Bobman. Atrocious. Weather-wise, there's like sprinkles in some spots. Atlanta, maybe 30 to 40% chances. But I think overall we're going to be okay when it comes to weather. So that's good. But pitching is not going to matter. It's really, really bad. So let's get things cracking on this slate, Bogman. We have the Miami Marlins at the Washington Nationals to start things off on that one. We got Trevor Rogers versus John Lester. Rogers $9,300 on DK, 97 on FanDuel. Lester 63 and 58. We always love attacking John Lester. Any interest in Rogers in this one?
Not really. No quality start in his last 4. He still has a high K upside. So I would say in this slate, as you mentioned, because the pitching is rough, he's in play. But I think for the most part, I would probably stash him aside. And like you said, attack Lester. Lester's got to be close to one of the worst pitchers in baseball at this point in his career. 2 of his 14 have been quality. His K per 9 and walk per 9 are getting eerily similar, 5.97 to 3.98. I mean, for as many innings pitched as he had, he's probably closest to the same in that category. But no, I'm looking to stack Starling Marte, Jesus Aguilar. If Jazz is in the lineup again, even though because he got banged up on Sunday, they're saying it's not that bad though. Adam Duvall's been hitting. Garrett Cooper's been hitting a little bit. So I think I'm more looking to stack those guys, the Marlins, the most in this game.
Yeah, we got to watch for Cooper too. He's getting an MRI on his elbow on Monday, so that'll be Very, very fun as well. But yeah, Starling Marte, I think is a great play. Aguilar, Duvall, as you mentioned. So you can get your Marlins in that regard. There'll be value as well with those bigger guys out. And then I do like Rogers on the small slate, not small slate, bad pitching slate, as you mentioned. I think he's in play. Definitely not one of my favorite plays. This Nationals lineup is hitting the ball right now. Soto hits lefties fine, so that doesn't bug me. Josh Harrison's hitting very well. He's 26 on both sites. Acides Escobar actually hit a home run today, on Sunday. So that just lets you know how things are going in Washington. Plus Ryan Zimmerman, I know he went deep on Saturday night. He's always cheap. He hits cleanup versus left-handed pitching. So I don't mind with some Nationals bats. I'm not like looking to target Rogers, but even on Sunday, I had a lot of just Soto one-offs because he's locked in right now. He's got that Soto feel of old, and the prices haven't officially like completely adjusted yet. Like it's
Looks
going
like,
up. It's
the
not
home run
there though.
The home run derby fixed him. I know there's a lot
That's
about
what he wanted.
Yeah, there's a lot about the home run derby ruining some guys, but it seemed to maybe fix him. So
that's why it was funny when he said he wanted to do it so it helped him elevate the baseball more. It was like, yeah, that's good. That's good. He noticed he's hitting a million ground balls. All right, next game on the slate, the Boston Red Sox at the Toronto Blue Jays. We have Nick Pivetta versus Ross Stripling over under 10.5 on this one. Big total. Pivetta 79 on DK, 77 on FanDuel, Stripling 85 and 84. Any interest, Bogman?
I mean, I think that over might be a little low. Pivetta, 11 earned run in 10 innings pitched against Toronto. And then Stripling on the other side, 10 earned runs in 9 2/3 against Boston. So let's stick to bats here. And there's a lot of PVB data here, too. All these guys have homers. Bo Bichette, Vlad, Biggio, Simeon, all against Pivetta, and then against Stripling. Enrique Hernandez, Verdugo, Dahlbeck, and Bogarts all have bombs as well. And then a couple extra for Bo Bichette, 2 doubles and a homer, 4 for 6 against him. Vlad is 3 for 5, 3 for 5 for Biggio, 3 for 6 for Kike Hernandez against Stripling. So there's cheap options. Christian Arroyo, if he's in the lineup, 23 and 24, he's been hitting a little bit. As Santiago Espinal, 3,300, 2,000 on either site. So I mean, let's stack either side of this game.
Yeah, it's a very, very lively game to stack. There's no doubting that at all. You got the big dogs, as you mentioned, to go with there with the Bichettes, the Vlads, and all of them. But also the value, you mentioned a few of them. Don't forget Jaron Duran's 23 on DK, 22 on FanDuel. He's got some left-handed pop coming in there against Stripling that you can definitely take advantage of. So, yeah, there's a lot to like in this game. And it's going to be expensive for some of them. So enjoy the value where you can find it and stack them up because there should be a ton of runs in this game, as you mentioned. Baltimore at Tampa Bay on this one. We have Spencer Watkins versus Ryan Yarbrough, over under of 9 on this one. Bogman, any interest in the pitchers on this slate?
I'll say this. I'll say I understand interest in Yarbrough. I don't think I'm going to do it very much, but if you're looking for a cheap second pitcher on DK or just a contrarian play, I understand with the matchup against Baltimore. But for the most part, just bats in this game. PVB against Yarbrough for Trey Mancini, 6 for 20, 2 doubles and 3 homers. Anthony Santander is 3 for 12 with 2 doubles. And then there's hot hitting guys on both sides. Mullins, Urias, Hayes on the Orioles side. On the Rays side, your boy Brandon Lau has still been going crazy. Austin Meadows, Yandy Diaz, Joey Wendell, Kevin Kiermaier have all been hitting a little bit over the last couple weeks. Yeah,
no, this is another interesting one. Like Yarbrough has not been the Yarbrough of old. Like on this slate, he kind of fits the bill of a tournament option. Like you can definitely go there, at least on DK as an SP2, but he's been messy of late. So it's kind of tricky. Tampa Bay bats haven't been overly dominant either, but it's definitely a spot versus Watkins. They can try to take advantage. They had a big Sunday, which was good to see. They got the Drew Smiley and then that Braves bullpen. You mentioned Brandon Lau, loves hitting them right-handed pitchers. So he slides in as a very nice option. Wander Franco went deep on Sunday. Brujan was leading off on Sunday. And those both bring massive value if they crack the lineup. If you're looking for some value plays, and then Baltimore's always in play for me, especially against a lefty like Yarbrough. You nailed most of that there with Mancini and Mountcastle and company, and Mullins can hit lefties and righties. So another game you can attack, because you can tell there's going to be a lot of pitching that stinks on this slate. So bats are going to be very prevalent on this one, but another game you can just kind of load up and see where things go. New York Mets at the Cincinnati Reds. Still waiting for the Mets starter on this one. They're because Jacob deGrom went to the IL. Lovely, fun times. Faces he will face Cincinnati and Gutierrez, who's 74 on DK, 72 on FanDuel. Any interest in this one?
No, I mean, Gutierrez has just had weird starts, no strikeouts in his last one. So I'm going to pass on pitching, stick to hitting in this game. I'll still go with Pete Alonso. Brandon Nimmo's been hitting since coming off the IL. McNeil on the Mets side. On the Red side, it's Castellanos, India, Farmer, Stevenson, and Barnhart. All have been hitting pretty well recently.
Yeah, Reds are swinging it well. It's Great American Small Park, likely a bullpen game for the Mets, and it should be a tired bullpen because Walker got lit up on Sunday, so they were overused in that one as well. We'll see who they call up. They'll call up somebody that probably can't go deep enough to make a difference. So Cincinnati's very, very live in this one, as you mentioned. And you can attack Gutierrez if you want. The Mets' offense is very, very inconsistent, which is very, very annoying. But like Nimmo went deep over the weekend. Conforto supposedly heating up to some. I still don't see it yet, but that's what people say. I'd rather have the Red side in this one. We'll see who they start to really see how we want to attack it. But I think the Reds very, very much in play on this one. Texas Rangers at the Detroit Tigers. Kyle Gibson, Casey Mize, over under 8.5 on this one. Gibson's 9,000 on DK, 91 on FanDuel. Mize is 66 and 81. Weird to say, Bogman, but Gibson's one of the top options on the slate.
I mean, is he? He had 5 earned in his last start, and that was against Detroit.
And name me like the 20 starts before that.
Yeah, I know he's been good, but it's just he was bad in his last outing, and it was against the same team. They might have the book on him. So I'm like,
if Detroit has the book on anybody, they might want to figure out a new profession.
Well, I mean, they got to him. And Mize, who I like against Texas, he only went 4 against Texas last time out. Had 2 strikeouts and no walks in those 4 innings. So I actually kind of don't like either one of these guys. I think I'm just more of a pass overall in this game. I will agree with you. If there's one guy I was going to buy, it probably would be Mize or Gibson. I think I would say Mize just for the strikeout upside, but I kind of don't want anything in this game.
Yeah, I'll be using Gibson on this one just because, there's no one else really to use on this slate for the most part. So I'll be going Kyle Gibson on this one at 9K on DK, 91 on FanDuel. I'll take my chances going back to Detroit and then hope they don't surprise more people on this one. But we'll see. I think hopefully they cashed out over the weekend, all those wins over Minnesota, and Texas can come in there and win an ugly one. So I'll go Gibson at 9K and see where things go. San Diego at Atlanta on this one. We get the return of Mr. Darvish, which is good to see. You Darvish back on the bump. He's 92 on DK, 11-2 on FanDuel, facing Kyle Muller, who's 76 on DK, 67 on FanDuel. Darvish is an intriguing play. Still banged up, though. Starts pushed back. You got Muller, who I love, but not the best matchup. So what do you like here, Bogman?
Yeah, Muller has high K upside, but like we just mentioned before, 41 runs Friday through Sunday for the Pods. I don't want to mess with him. So Darvish, I hate taking guys first start off the IL, and he's definitely too expensive on FanDuel at 11-2. 9-2 on DK, I think is I could swallow that price. You know what I mean? So he's fine. He's not my first option on the slate tonight, but in a slate that's weird, I think I'd rather go with Darvish over Gibson. I'll say that.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Atlanta's slowly getting it going. Freeman before Sunday had homered in 3 of his first 4 games. Albies is swinging it well. They're starting to hopefully come to life, but it is Darvish. I agree. I like Darvish on this slate. I'm not going to deny that because the slate it stinks. It's a very, very bad pitching slate. So I think he's in play. I think if you're building a lot of lineups, you want to be contrarian. You can go Muller, just hoping that somehow that offense slows down. But it is so white hot right now. It's very, very tricky. What bats do you like on this one?
For this one, I mean, there's some PVB against Darvish. Freddie Freeman 3 for 8 against him with a double. 2 for 5 for Almonte, 3 for 9 for Albies, as you mentioned. So there's some options, but I mean, everyone is hitting in San Diego. Tatis, Myers, Machado, Hosmer, Cronenworth, Pham, Grisham, just pretty much if they're in the lineup, they've been smacking the ball for the Padres. So I'm fine stacking the Padres right now. All right, so we had a little bit of technical difficulty here. So if Bubba sounds a little bit different, he had to switch from his computer to his iPad to his phone to a space shuttle to a bunch of different things to get his internet to work. So you were talking about the Atlanta hitters that you liked for this game, Bob.
Yeah, the Atlanta hitters, they are heating up. Freeman's homered before Sunday, homered in 3 of his last 4 games. And Ozzie Albies hitting well. Arcia has been a value. So you have some stuff you can like in Atlanta offense. It's tough to trust Darvish, but again, you don't know how long he's going to go coming off the IL. So Atlanta could be one of those low-owned spots to target there. And this brings up a great moment to remind everybody, if you want to watch some really angry bald man action, go check out the LineStar YouTube channel because, this is internet issues for the second straight night really can make a person angry. So check that out. But, hey, we got more baseball to talk about. We got the Chicago Cubs at the St. Louis Cardinals. Alec Mills versus Jake Woodruff. Mills is been pitching well of late. Woodruff, not so much because he's usually a reliever. So you have that to worry about. But Mills is 67 on DK, 64 on FanDuel. Woodruff, 48 on DK, 62 on FanDuel. Any interest here, Bogman?
I kind of like Mills a little bit, but like if I'm going to go down the road, I think I'd rather go with Miser Yarbrough. So probably not. Like you said, Woodford, first start of the year, so pass on him. Tommy Edman against Mills is 6 for 7 with 2 doubles. Love to see that. Matt Carpenter, 3 for 8 with 2 homers against him. Javier Baez, Jason Hayward, Wilson Contreras, Rizzo, like all these guys got hot over the weekend against my Diamondbacks. Paul Goldschmidt, Harrison Bader, and Paul DeYoung have all been hitting for St. Louis as well. So I'm mainly going bats in this one.
Yeah, kind of like Mills as an SP2 on DK. He's been pitching really, really well of late. The downside to that is the Cardinals just don't strike out a lot. I was telling people in chats, it's tough to even the Giants pitchers over this past weekend because they just don't strike out against right-handed pitching. Their strikeout rate's like 17% over the last month, which is not ideal for DK standards or even FanDuel standards. So that's tricky, but he is a nice value on DK as an SP2 at 67. I would not play him on FanDuel at 64. To your Cubs bats points, I don't mind them. I think they're in play. The only caveat is it's really tough to stack against a bullpen game. I don't know what they're going to do with Woodruff. Does he go 1 inning, 3 innings? I don't know. And then where do they go from there? It makes it a little tricky. But the Jason Hayward price tag at 27 on both sides is outstanding because he's actually swinging it. He's hitting over 300 like the last month of the season. So it's kind of a sneaky, cheap value there with Jason Hayward, which I don't mind at all. I don't really care who's pitching in that scenario. Cleveland Indians at the Houston Astros. We got CJ Mejia versus Luis Garcia. Mejia 61 on DK, 57 on FanDuel. Garcia 96 on DK, 94 on FanDuel. You interested in Garcia on this price tag versus a bad Cleveland team?
Yeah, I mean, even though he's a little more expensive than he has been, I'm into it. So Garcia, finally, we land on a pitcher where it's kind of just no questions about him at all. And for sure, I would be into starting him. So Garcia for sure. And then, just Astros bats, Tucker, Jordan Alvarez, Michael Brantley, Chas McCormick has been hitting a little bit recently as well. So I think any Astros bats in the lineup, I would be fine with starting in this game.
Yeah, Garcia is a phenomenal play on this slate. The Indians bats do not scare many people at all. So you can have some fun with that. And Garcia's got the strikeout upside you're looking for against this Cleveland offense. So I'm a big fan of that play here. I think he'll be very popular because the pitching is so wonky on this slate, but he's a very, very strong play. And then the Houston bats, as you mentioned, CJ Mejia seems to pitch to way too much contact. And this offense is just clicking on all cylinders. Tucker's still a great value. Michael Brantley's still a great value in this offense. We know they'll be in the lineup. Maybe McCormick plays, maybe Toro or some others, but those two for sure check the boxes, and you can piece it with the usual suspects. So Houston's another great stack, one with 7 or 8 other ones that are all in play for you this evening. Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim at the Oakland Athletics. Shohei Ohtani back on the mound facing Cole Irvin. Ohtani 87 on DK, 10-2 on FanDuel. Irvin is 78 on DK, 82 on FanDuel. It's a tricky one because Ohtani's been great. Irvin's been okay. Like both pitchers, one pitcher, no pitchers.
I like Ohtani. 3 out of his last 4 have been quality. Obviously, his one was the bad one against the Yankees at 2/3 of an inning and all that stuff. But Irvin, 8 earned and 11 2/3 against the Angels so far this year. Only 5 strikeouts to 2 walks in those 11 2/3 innings. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and stick to Ohtani here. And then maybe if you wanted to throw in a cheap option, like a Jose Iglesias been hitting 35 and 23. Max Stassi has been hitting 39 and 28. David Fletcher, one of those guys. But I think it's Ohtani and just Angels bats for me.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Fletcher did on Sunday, but if he had another hit, it's like a 27-game hit streak he has going on now. He's just crushing everything. So very impressive there. But I do like Ohtani. I like Ohtani almost all the time, especially when he's $8,700. To me, he's got the ceiling of a 9 to 10K guy, and you get him at a discount. Like the walks have been his biggest bugaboo. When he's not walking guys, he's outstanding. If he's not walking them, though, we're good to go. So I like Ohtani on this one at 87, as you mentioned. I can see an argument for Irvin because he's shown the upside there, but I'd wish he'd be like 68, not 78 on DK. I will not use him on FanDuel, period. But I like Ohtani on DK only, not on FanDuel because the 6 innings is a question mark. But I think he is a great option on that slate. And then I don't mind going against Irvin with the Fletchers, like you mentioned, and some others. Probably not a full stack, but Fletcher's still too cheap for me. 42 on DK, 31 on FanDuel. So like that one quite. If you're playing cash games, he's a great cash game play. Going to the desert to where it's going to be 1,000,000 degrees, but they have a dome, thank God. Pittsburgh at Arizona. DeYoung versus Caleb Smith. Any interest in either pitcher on this one?
That's a negative Ghost Rider. Totally rocked against the Dodgers for Caleb Smith. DeYoung, I mean, not a bad draw against Arizona here, but I'm just not interested in him. So give me bats. Give me Eduardo Escobar, Josh Rojas, Peralta, Walker, Reddick. All these guys have been hitting. Stallings has been hitting for Pittsburgh along with Nogowski. If he's not starting fights, Wilmer Defoe went deep a couple nights ago, and he's cheap, 23,200. Frazier and Hayes are pretty much just constantly in play for the Pirates as well. So I think I just stack bats on either side in this game.
Yeah, those pesky Pittsburgh bats have been playing really well over the weekend. You mentioned Defoe. He's put up double-digit fantasy points in 4 of his last 5 games, which is like, what? But yeah, he's been producing quite well there. You mentioned the usual suspects with Frazier, Hayes, and Reynolds, but you mentioned Nogowski, who's continually too cheap, and Ben Gamble. He's been like 2K every day. He hits cleanup. So you could always have some fun there if you want to attack Caleb Smith and his home run loving abilities that he has there. So I don't hate that. And then I don't mind attacking DeYoung. This is why this is a weird one, because so many great spots tonight. This could be like your value section of the slate. Pittsburgh versus Arizona, get your value bats right here. Josh Reddick's cheap. Christian Walker's cheap. You can have a lot of fun in this one for sure. I do not want either pitcher. That's the best piece of advice I can give you. Last game on the slate, San Francisco Giants at the Los Angeles Dodgers. Gossman taking the bump. He's 10K on DK, 10-6 on FanDuel versus Tony Gonsolin, 82 on DK, 75 on FanDuel. Either pitcher on this one, Bogman?
Yeah, Gossman. I'm still into Gossman, even against the Dodgers. You know, I think he's had in his 4 of his last 5 have been quality. He has against the Dodgers 11 innings pitched, 3 earned, 11 strikeouts, 5 walks. So pretty good against them still. Gonsolin's just not going deep enough yet. So I'm not really interested. There's some good PVB data for the Dodgers against Gossman, however. Max Muncy, 4 for 14 with a double in 2 homers, 4 for 13 for Turner with 2 doubles and a bomb, 4 for 10 for Taylor, 15 for 46 for Betts. That's 326 with a double and 3 homers against Gossman, 2 for 7 for Will Smith with a double against him. And then there's hot bats on both sides. Ruff, Crawford, Yastrzemski, Casali, Slater for your Giants. Pollock has been hitting real well for the Dodgers recently, to my chagrin. Matt Beatty and Albert Pujols as well has been hitting, and he's cheap, 34.29. So probably bats, but I understand, in this slate wanting Gossman to go right back to Gossman.
Yeah, I got no problem if you want to go back to Gossman, especially with his strikeout upside. That could be a big one because he can afford him to give up a couple runs, but still put you up a 20-point fantasy night. No Gonsolin for me because he still just isn't going deep enough in games. He's still walking too many guys. I just don't like it. So I'm on Gossman on this one, and I don't mind some Giants bats. Posey's supposed to be back on Monday, which will be a big addition to the lineup. Keep an eye on Crawford's help, but Yastrzemski had a big week, and he's hitting it really well. Ruff went deep on Sunday. There's the lineup; it's still hitting, even though they weren't putting up runs. And I think going back to LA, it's going to be hot down there in Southern California. Could be a nice little sneaky spot. There's other spots on the slate I like better for bats, though, so don't think it's a must-go-to thing. But Gossman, I do like on this one. No Gonsolin for me. All right, Bogman, recapping things real quick. Who are your top pitchers on this slate?
Well, the pitcher, Garcia is probably my favorite. Ohtani and Gossman after him. Darvish, and then Rogers is a maybe. And then just outside looking in, Yarborough and Mize. Those are probably the pitchers that I like on this slate.
If I told you Zach Greinke was pitching instead of Luis Garcia, what would you say?
I'd say I have no opinion.
Okay, because there might be a chance Greinke makes that start. So keep that in mind, everybody that's listening.
Then I would adjust to Ohtani. That's who I'd go to. Ohtani on this slate, and then Gossman behind him.
Yeah, if Garcia is there, he's definitely the top spot. But give me Ohtani, give me Gibson, give me Gossman. Those would be like my top guys. I'd love to find out some more news on Darvish before he takes the mound. That's one thing for sure. What stacks are you liking on this one?
I like Miami against John Lester. I think that's a good one. Either side of the Boston at Toronto game, Houston versus Cleveland, and Pittsburgh versus Arizona, either side.
And we're both on board on pretty much all of those. Only other ones I think I would mention is I think you nailed most of them. No, I'm looking through it also. Love any time to face John Lester, though. That's for sure. I guess the only other one I could put out there is that Baltimore-Tampa Bay game. Could be another interesting one with two very, very bad pitching. And what very, very bad pitching does, Bogman, is allows for home runs. Check out LineStar on Twitter at LineStar app and at LineStar MLB, and hope we can get you a home run call, because they'll tweet out the home run calls of the day from Bogman, myself, and Ryan Humphreys. And if we get one right and you retweeted it and you got chosen in the special retweeted group, you'll win some free swag. So Bogman, on Monday, July 19th, who's your home run call of the day?
I'm going to take your guy, Trey Trey Mancini against Ryan Yarbrough. Going yard. Let's go.
I like a little Trey Boo action. That's always a good one for you. What I'm going to go to is I like to pick on Johnny Lester, so I'm going to one of your boys. Give me Jesus Aguilar. Going deep off of Johnny Lester. I would have picked Cooper, but I don't think he's playing on Monday. I think he's going to day off. So before I have to get that tweet sent to me of who's my second choice, we'll go to him right now. We're going to Jesus Aguilar going deep. He's hit 5 home runs over the last month, so it might be quiet, but he's getting it done as well. So you got Trey Boo. I got Jesus Aguilar. We'll see who Ryan Humphreys gets. Make sure you guys retweet that tweet by LineStar and download the app in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Get all your good stuff and things over there. We'll be back to you guys on Tuesday with another fun-filled slate, probably a full slate like most Tuesdays are. Bogman is on Twitter at Bogman Sports. I'm at BD Intric. We'll catch you guys next time.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to the LineStar app On Deck podcast. Download LineStar app from the App Store or go to linestarapp.com for all your DFS baseball needs. If you love the On Deck podcast, support KC, Bubba, and Bogman by rating and subscribing. Good luck.